Triple whistle in San Siro with Milan that is beating Bologna 3-1. Is it a fantastic result for the Bianconeri? We should say yes, it should be like that. But is it really like that? I am not sure, because tomorrow we play against Lazio. And honestly, I listened to the press conference of Igor Tudor and he worried me. I am not 100% sure about what I heard, what I saw. Something is annoying me, and that's what we'll speak about in today's video. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. Second video of the day. I hope you are still doing well. If you appreciated the result of Milan beating Bologna, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Before speaking about Tudor, that worried me a lot. There is something that extremely annoyed me, and not that much about the words, but much more about the behavior. Well, let's start with Milan-Bologna. I didn't expect Milan to win. For me, it would have been already a miracle if they drew the game against Bologna. Not because Bologna is stronger or not stronger, because they are in a fantastic moment or not. It's because I knew that Milan would have focused entirely their energies to keep them for the game of the midweek against Bologna again, but this time in Coppa Italia, because winning that game, lifting the trophy, would be second trophy of the season, but especially a ticket for European competition. I know it's not Champions League, but it's still a European competition, and big clubs like that with extra revenues, it's extremely important. So Leao not there, some players on the bench. I said, bah, let's see. And also when you are watching that first half, that was extremely boring between two teams with a huge domination of Bologna, especially in terms of ball possession, in terms of where they were on the field. You say, bah, Milan, they don't care. They don't care because we know it. They cannot go lower than the 9th position, so they don't care. But it's Bologna actually that is waking up Milan, because this time it's not Bologna that is giving away the lead, but they go with the lead with another goal. Again, the same one. Orsolini, what a beautiful goal from the right side of the field, cutting in, beautiful left one. Maignan couldn't do anything. And that's where they wake up the Red Devils, where they try a bit. The big change, the turnaround of the game arrived at the 65th minute with Gimenez and Chukwueze that enters. Both of them are really decisive for the change of that game. For the first goal at the 73rd minute, for the second goal that has been cancelled by Gimenez 1 minute later. Looks like the same game as last week against Genoa. Milan totally absent, and then in 1 minute, boom, boom, 2 goals that they are winning the game. But this one was cancelled, so they had to wait a bit longer, 6 minutes longer before the goal of Pulisic. Really bad Joao Felix. And the game of Joao Felix was really, really, really bad. There were some people that were comparing him to the best Kaká. But maybe they never saw Kaká. Anyway, that's something totally different. And then the 3-1 when Bologna was trying to at least equalize the game. So usually, or normally I should tell you, it's a fantastic result, because Bologna were at 62 points. They are still at 62 points. They cannot go over Juve in matchday 36. Now it's in our hands. We winning against Lazio tomorrow means that we are at +4 with 2 games to go, which again, it's a fantastic one, because we have the possibility to put Bologna out of the race with 2 games to go, which is really beautiful. Remember, a lot of people were thinking that Bologna was sure to go there. Are they mathematically out of the race? No, because they can still do it, but now they really need a miracle. And hopefully Atalanta will give us a hand again, beating Roma, which would be really beautiful, because also Roma is out. But the problem is ourselves. I always said it, at the moment the result Milan-Bologna changes nothing, but really changes nothing. Because if we are not able to do the job tomorrow against Lazio, that's where we have the problem. And today, before knowing the result of Milan-Bologna, I watched twice the press conference of Igor Tudor, and I needed to digest it before recording the video. So I said, you know what, let's wait the result of Milan-Bologna before speaking about it. But I was a bit worried. Again, not about the words, but much more about the non-verbal of Igor. I lost a bit that energy, that power, that will, that being really convinced. Yeah, that conviction. Probably the right word to describe what I felt, because it's a feeling, of course, is the lack of conviction. Did Tudor lose the conviction that we can do it? He ends the press conference answering the question, are you convinced to qualify to Champions League? And he says, look, I am convinced that we can reach the Champions League, but I'm not the only one. The other coaches from the other teams that are also in the run, they are also convinced. At the end, it's the pitch that will answer the questions. It's only the pitch that has the truth. The words is beautiful, but a lot of time words are only smoke. Conviction. Well, if he is convinced, I hope that he will have another non-verbal behavior, another verbal behavior when he will be in the locker room, or at least in the entire week when he was preparing the game against Lazio, and also in the locker room before the game, during halftime, and hopefully also after the game, that he's totally different, that he's much more convinced, much more motivated to be able to transmit the importance of this game. There is a question at a certain moment where they are asking him, it's another final. He said, yeah, but you're keeping repeating. Since I'm here every single game, you're telling me tomorrow it's a final, tomorrow it's a final. No, it's not a final. The 3 games that are remaining are important, because if you win tomorrow against Lazio, good, but you lose the other 2 games, what do we do then? And he's right, huh? He's not wrong in what he's saying. The next 3 games are 9 points. Everyone is extremely important, because indeed, if tomorrow you win and you throw away the last 2 games, it's even more disaster that knowing already that you are out against Lazio today. So he's right. But is he really aware that tomorrow it's not 3 points, like he said, but 6 points? Because you have 3, but you take 3 more over Lazio, because they are not able to go with 3 points. So tomorrow is a scontro diretto. It's a direct opponent that you are putting away from you, because they are also at 63. So that means that you can go at +3 from Lazio, +4 from Bologna, waiting for the result of the evening of Sunday between Atalanta and Roma. Super important. So I was expecting a bit more punch, like he started that press conference when he was presented, the game after. I was watching that. I was expecting that. Is it because he's not convinced about the team? That they realize, ragazzi, this is what we are. This is the situation right now. I cannot say too much about it, but I do what I can. But this is what I have. These are the tools that I have at disposal, and I am aware of it. I tried. Let's hope. Is it that? Or is it because he really understood now, and maybe it's even official, that they told him, Igor, with all the respect, but we finish the season, we go together in the USA as promised. We try to do a really beautiful Club World Cup. And then it's over, because we took the decision to go for another coach, and that he knows that whatever that he's doing, even if he's able to do a miracle, qualifying to Champions League, even winning the 3 next remaining games, which at the end, if you are looking, would be nice, because that means if you win the next 3 games, that you won all of them except of that slip against Parma. Is it because he knows that he has absolutely no chance? I don't know. Look, Gazzetta is telling him, and that's where I started to think. It was the 4th question of the press conference. They said, like, you know Juventus now. You knew Juventus when you were playing, a really great Juventus, a winning Juventus. The normal Juventus, the Juventus that was winning. That was really beautiful from Cornacchia, from Gazzetta dello Sport, where he said, and the question is, will a summer with a few important signings be enough to have back the real Juve? Where he says, look, that's a question about the future. I could answer that question, or I could not answer that question. I will not answer that question. Let's focus on today. Then we will see what the future will offer us. When I'm telling you that, is like he has some things to say. He wants to say something. He knows some things, but he prefers not to say it. Why? Because he knows that he's gone in the summer, and it makes totally no sense. Maybe because he knows, probably he knows things that we don't know at the moment, but probably he also knows that he will not be there, and starting to speak, to say in front of microphone for a lost cause. That's an interpretation that I give you. I don't have certainties, but that's what I feel. They asked him about that second half. We never score in the second half. Did you understand it? Did you notice that? And that's where he's saying, yeah, of course I know, but these are things that where I never think about. The first reaction is, I will dribble that question. I don't want to answer that question either. And it was the 5th question, so right after the other one that he didn't answer. So that's where it feels, now it's time for me to answer. I'm obliged. I cannot just ignore every question. Where he says, look, we always must go hard. We always must go hard, going forward, attacking, trying with that energy, that the score is 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. We're always obliged. That's what I'm expecting always, whatever the results, and whatever that we are playing in the first half or second half. He said, I could go, and then that's where he's thinking and answering. I could go in detail, he says, but makes no sense. Today, we need to focus on the important thing, which is the remaining games. It was an answer that makes totally no sense, to be honest. Again, also here, this time, it's probably not towards the club, but towards maybe the team that he has at disposal. Yes, I know the problem. I know, I'm aware of the problem. Of course, I'm aware of the problem that we are not scoring second half, but probably these are things that I want to tell them that we are working on. They don't want to tell you. I don't want publicly to start shaming players or to finger point players or to blame players. I know the situation. This is what I really felt today in that press conference. A Tudor that he was like this, guys. He was down. He was really down, which is not giving me the trust that tomorrow, in a really important game against Lazio, we'll have that strength to do well. Look, the press conference against Bologna was a bit better than this one. Was not a fantastic one, to be honest, but it was a bit better. And then you see that indeed Juventus tried in the first half to go for it. So maybe I'm totally wrong, but that was the feeling that I had. One thing that is sure is about Douglas Luiz. Mamma mia. I don't know if you heard it or not, because reading it is one thing, but when you see it, when you watch it, when you hear it, it's totally different. At a certain moment, there is the question, about it's an important player that you signed this summer, blah, blah, blah. Will he have his chance to prove? And that's where he says, look, I already spoke 2-3 times about him. I explained everything to you guys, because it's not the first press conference that we are speaking about him. I really like him. He's a strong player. Hopefully, he will help us until the end. Look. That was really a big dribble. That was really a big dribble to avoid. He doesn't want to speak about Douglas Luiz. For people that were expecting him to start tomorrow, because there were some papers that were even thinking that he could potentially be one of the 11 starters. Again, I don't know, but I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. Except of a disaster, I don't see Douglas Luiz starting in the games. Looks like he really put him aside. He's not counting on Douglas Luiz. That's the reality. That's what I felt. Is he satisfied about this Juve? He said, look, a coach can never be satisfied. We are always looking to more. This is the life of a coach, but it's true that the team is growing. We are more aware of it. Then, about the squad list. Squad list that is important because we have two good news. Dusan Vlahovic, that trained, he said, the entire week with us. Entire week. Well, the papers were telling us not the entire week, but he said he trained the entire week. Let's see. Then he said he will be there. Gatti did a really small part. In extremis, we are able to recuperate it, so he will travel with the team. Let's see if we will need him or not. Again, I don't expect Gatti to play. I don't expect Dusan Vlahovic to start, but at least we have 2 more players on the bench. And when the other ones, no. We know who they are. Not even next-gen players were called up. I was maybe thinking some, no, not even a midfielder. We are really lacking midfielders. No midfielders, nothing. Azic is there. We know that. Like in the last 3 weeks against Bologna, he played a few minutes in the end of the game. Will he have more space or not? Question mark. I don't know. The predicted lineups from Giovanni Albanese, I will tell you immediately. Finally, for some people, you will tell me, we will see Alberto Costa from the first minute, because we go towards the same defense with Di Rigore into the goal, Kalulu, Veiga, and Savona. And then we go with Alberto Costa, that could play as a right wing back for the first time, with Timothy Weah on the left. A midfield made of Locatelli, Thuram, and then up front, Nico Gonzalez, with McKennie and Colomoni. Will it be a 3-4-2 or will it be a 3-5-2 like I showed you this morning, with Nico Gonzalez a bit more up, McKennie a bit more down? Maybe these movements on the field, we will see them, we will understand them. But for the people that really wanted Alberto Costa to see him more, well, tomorrow is a big chance for the player that should go on loan in the next summer. But you never know. Maybe he will be able to surprise us, hopefully in a positive way, because that miss against Bologna, hopefully he took it away. Dai, Tudor, hopefully I'm wrong. Usually I'm not wrong when I'm trying to interpret the non-verbal. Hopefully I was wrong today. Dai, Tudor. Tudor. Not only a Juventino, not only a motivator, I agree with that, but these are big qualities why you are here at the head of Juve. The rest is on top, but these are fundamentals, and you need to keep. Dai, Igorone. Grazie, we see each other tomorrow. Video, then pre-game, match, watch along, and post-game. Grazie, forza, Juve.